Good day everyone. I will begin our presentation by explaining what is stress and why it's important to connect of learning and memory. What is stress? Stress is the body psychology and psychology response to any challenge or demand for students. Stress is commonly triggered by academic pressure, exam and deadline, heavy homework, parental expectation, and comparison with peers. For instance, a Form 5 student preparing for XPM may feel anxious every day due to the extra class, constant revision, and the pressure from family. The body reacts with the stress, such as a feeling overwhelmed, nervous, and mentally tired. There are two types of stress. Number one is eustress. It's a positive stress. It can motivate students to study hard or stay focused. For example, a little nervous before a test can help a student perform better. Number two is a distress. It's a negative stress. This happens when stress becomes too intense or long-lasting. For example, a student who feels extremely afraid of failing may lose sleep, forget what they study, or avoid school. Why stress matter in learning? Stress strongly affects how the brain works, especially in learning environment. Number one, it's reduced attention and focus. Students experiencing stress struggle to pay attention in class. For example, a student may appear to be listening, but their mind is full of thoughts like I didn't finish my homework or I'm going to fail in my exam. Number two, it's weakness problem-solving skills. Stress interferes with logical and creative thinking. A stressed student may make simple mistakes in mathematics or feel confused about a question they normally understand. Number three is cortisol disrupts memory. When stress level rise, the body releases a hormone called cortisol. High cortisol level interfere with memory formation and memory recall. For example, a student may study the entire night, but when they enter the exam hall, they suddenly blank out. This because stress interferes with memory retrieval. Why teacher need to understand stress? Understanding stress is essential for teacher because the stress affects in student behavior, motivation, participation in class, and overall academic performance. For example, and a real life example, a student who frequently skips school may not actually be lazy. Sometimes they avoid class because they feel stressed, afraid, and overwhelmed.
Physiological insight. Acute versus chronic stress. Stress isn't always bad. Acute stress is short-term, like the rush before an exam or a speech. It can sharpen our focus and push us to perform. But chronic stress is different. It is long-lasting, like it is ongoing financial worries or constant pressure at school. That kind of stress wears us down, affecting both health and learning. The second one is brain impact, which is cortisol, memory, and attention. When we are stressed, our body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. In small doses, it helps us to stay alert, but too much cortisol damages the hippocampus, the part of the brain that handles memory. That's why chronic stress makes it harder to remember things or learn new material. Acute stress can narrow our attention, and it is useful for urgent tasks, but chronic stress reduces flexibility, creativity, and problem solving.
Today, I will briefly example two key theories that influence how students learn. First of all, is it about cognitive theory states that our working memory has limited capacity. When students reach too much information or unclear instructions, they become overloaded and learning becomes less effective. The goal is to reduce unnecessary distractions or present information clearly. And this is about to support students with structured activities. The second one is it about the year case Dodson law examples how stress affects performance. Students perform best at a moderate level of stress. Too little stress leads to low motivation, while too much stress will cause anxiety and reduce performance. When we combine both theories, we see that high stress increase cognitive load and make it harder for students to process information. Therefore, effective learning happens when teachers keep lessons clear, manageable, and balanced with the right level of challenge. In short, reduce overload and controlling stress helps students learn better and perform at their best. Thank you.
Next is strategy for students. There are several efficient measures that can be implemented by students themselves to overcome stress on their everyday life. Approach to mindfulness, intense breathing exercise, proper management of time allow the student to remain calm and attentive in the classroom. Sleep is also important to remember. Pay attention and be emotionally stable. Students are also advised to divide big tasks into small and manageable sections to ensure that they not become overwhelmed. It is also possible to relieve mental pressure by being able to share their feelings with friends, teacher or counselor, which also help to relieve emotional depression. Having a healthy lifestyle, active physical activity, proper nutrition and decreased screen time have a significant impact on the well-being of an individual. Active learning methods such as mind maps, summary notes, and group study sessions can also be adopted by students to make the learning process more interesting and less pressure-inducing. Third is strategy for school. The school have the role of offering systematic assistance that will enable the student to be able to cope stress. Provision of professional counseling service and mental health program make available to students some form of reliable help when they need it. A balanced academic workload will mean that the students do not feel overburdened. Healthy and enjoyable extracurricular activity should also be encouraged in school to enable students to relax, foster a sense of social skill, and avoid emotional instability. Having stringent anti-bullying policies will provide a better and safer school environment. Moreover, school may organize life skill classes, time management, study methods, and emotional control could be taught to provide students with effective skill on managing academic stress. The opportunity to spend some moment in specific area, known as calm rooms or relaxation corners, will also enable students to relax and cope with stress better.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Belma Atika binti Kiram, MS 250937196K. First, I want to present my part of 3.0 practical strategies. There are few important strategies that can be adopted by teachers, students, school to minimize the adverse impact of stress on learning. First, 3.1 strategies for teachers. Teachers have a critical role to play in making sure that students are able to cope with stress when learning. This can be done by providing a secure classroom space where students are not afraid to speak up and share their emotion. Another way teachers can have lower stress level during exam is by giving their instruction, providing suspicion practice, explaining the expectation clearly, and creating a sense of readiness in students. Emotional support also includes positive encouragement and constructive feedback, which may help students feel more confident and decrease anxiety level. In addition, teachers can use a variety of teaching methods to accommodate different student learning style and avoid overloading them with too much work.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, my name is Diana binti Tatin. I can present my part is conclusion. In conclusion, stress a critical issue that affects student ability to learn, retain information and perform academically. Understanding the difference between acute and chronic stress and how it affects the brain help educators school respond more effectively. By applying psychological theories like the Yerkes-Dodson law and cognitive load theory, we can see that moderate stress can motivate, but excessive stress impairs learning. Therefore, teachers, students, and school administrators must work together to create a supportive environment through practical strategies such as stress reduction, technical counseling service, and balanced academic expectation. A proactive approach to managing stress ensures students can thrive emotionally and academically. What I can conclude is that I would like to impress that stress is not a trivial matter, and we all have a role to play in helping students overcome it. Thank you.